Tune into this as well as many other awesome episodes only available on Patreon.
But either way, today what we're going to do for you guys is the infamous 100812 Dan from Illinois, the lawyer, busting Wiggy's balls about his salary at AGT, his salary at the Stern Show, and why it's down. And he gets so bent out of fucking shape. Again, keep in mind, guys, this is getting closer to GTD, not seminar, the meeting, the summit. So, and he's in GTDs doing this stuff, and he's no more balanced than ever. He's completely unhinged because of this guy's call. And who is it? A caller. It's just a caller. Well, do we know he's a lawyer? No. Do we have any proof that does this guy really know Howard's finances? Of course not. But because he's making good educated guesses, Howard, and he's generalizing, but Howard clearly is busted. Else, why would you get so upset by this guy?
Yeah, because it's been reported early on, in the dirt or the case may be, that especially when it came to the time of them finding out that the ratings were dropping.
Oh fuck!
And the way that they had to conform to his needs and such. That became a problem with not only production but also Simon and then the rest of the crew. Yeah, he had to find a way to defend what they did for him when in fact it became a bust, and they realized it later on because the only thing was that they were stuck with a contract that they made with him.
Yep. And if you guys want actual hard numbers, I don't know that, because we're going to do eventually an AGT series, just like a saga. It won't take but maybe 3 episodes, I would say 4 at the tops, where he goes on and then he talks bullshit and people complain about him talking about it too much. And then he claims it was just a joke. But then he brought in Don Buchwald to announce that he was going on this fucking show. How many times does Don Buchwald appear on the show?
This is the point where the turn happened, where the hardcore fans were ready to go. Yeah, it's time for me to go. Like this is where it happened.
Yeah. And so so if you want the hard numbers, basically, guys, he joins in 2012, in the spring of 2012, I believe. So the final performance is from the previous year, September 14th, 2011, 14.3 million viewers. And the finale at the end of September, or say middle September 2012, when he's on board, 10.59. So they lost almost 4 million viewers.
Yeah,
that's massive.
That's massive, because that show quietly for some time was building steam, and it became a runaway hit, especially during the summertime when people are not home. That they were really catching up on older shows and such that they missed. That show was a quintessential show. I had friends that were excited to go to the live shows and stuff. Like, it was crazy. But once he got on, it became a nightmare for everybody.
And so the numbers, if you also continues, guys, from 2006, when from the inception of the show until his finale, like the time where the last show he was on, which was, I believe, September 16th, 2015, he achieved the lowest ratings, like 9.54 million for the finale in the history of the show, up until about the 2020, because by that point, I mean, it's on borrowed time, because the show's been on almost 15 years. But as soon as he's gone, the following year, the finale's 14.4 million. So it's like literally a jump of 5 million viewers after he's gone. What the fuck does that tell you? This is for context for the Dan call. We have to do this. Yeah.
Well, he did at one point try to blame the acts, to say that they didn't have strong acts during his time there.
Fuck, man. He blamed everybody. You'll hear it in this clip.
And mind you, I was a fan. I watched the show every year.
But did you had to watch it with your daughter? No?
Yeah.
Not in 2012, perhaps, but maybe
if that's the excuse we're gonna go with, I watched it with my daughter, right?
Okay,
I didn't DVR it for me. Why would I do such a thing?
Did you really pay attention to the show tune episodes?
Oh, I wouldn't even know what that is, sir.
I'm gonna wash that wig right out of my hair.
So yeah, it was abysmal, and when you get to the story, you'll hear it. Simon really wasn't happy with a lot of it. He wasn't.
Fuck no, he couldn't be. I mean, because the whole point is, guys, they moved it to New York, which was insanity. All those shows operate out of LA for a million reasons: better weather.
Exactly.
If you want guest stars, they all live out there, so it's super easy to hook one up for like a guest judge for that week or whatever the fuck. It's convenient. Studio space is better, cheaper. It's cheaper production, and it's like I said, it's just easier all around. And the talent base is mostly out in California. So New York, for this fucking pelican to because he didn't want to have to travel across the which he could get a private jet for and not really give a fuck. He's stupid. And he only would have engendered more ill feelings from the crew, who now got to set up shop across the country for him.
And then they weren't even in New York. I mean, they based some of the shows in Radio City, which I couldn't imagine how much that was. Like that was siphoning money to out of that company. That was ridiculous. But a lot of shows were in Jersey as well.
Oh, that's brutal.
That doesn't help either. Like that didn't help either.
Wow, because it's still not helping him in the commute, really.
No, because he always bitched about Ronnie taking the wrong route to get to Newark. You're not using a George Washington. You should go to the Lincoln. Blah blah blah. And it became fodder for the show, but it became fodder in which we were bored by at that time.
Oh yeah,
we started really checking out. But the question I asked you: did you watch?
Never. No, I hated those shows because even as a kid, I never watched Star Search.
You wasn't a variety show kind of guy.
No, I was early on, because that was what in the early days before pre-80s. That's pretty much what there was. Variety shows were the staple as a really young kid. But then as soon as sitcoms rolled out, man, I was all in, and I didn't care about, these talent shows because I just thought they were kind of, first of all, even as a kid, I thought they were fixed because they seemed fake.
Right.
Like they seemed overly produced. If I wouldn't have known what that meant at age 5, but I did get a sense of this seems little, Star Trek is more believable than this. You know what I mean? And then also it was cheesy and it was just too sanitized, I guess. I don't know. Not that a sitcom wasn't back then, but you know what I mean. At least there was a lot more edge in the facts of life than there was in any of these shows, man.
Listen, when Tootie had her issues, we were there for Tootie. We were.
Oh, man. Big time. Absolutely.